is John Cullen with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. In this episode, I'm going to compare the only two options that I know of to convert your Vitamix into a vacuum blender. I'm not going to get into the merits really of vacuum blending in this episode. I'm going to have you watch my other videos that I talk about vacuum blending versus non-vacuum blending. And what I will say is if you guys are just blending margaritas up in your Vitamix or your blender, don't even worry about buying a vacuum blending upgrade for your Vitamix. However, if you're like me and a health-minded individual and are blending things up to create an amazing whole food out of nutrient-dense plants, then you definitely will want to upgrade your Vitamix to make it a vacuum blender. The simple principle is this: the vacuum blender works by first sucking out the oxygen out of the blender carafe before you blend. So now all the oxidative damage and all the oxygen is not being bombarded into the cell walls to oxidize the phytonutrients and vitamins that are oxygen sensitive in your mixtures. When you do this, what you will find is, number one, they store better, right? You make a smoothie, you can't drink it, you leave it a little bit left for later, maybe even the next day, put it in your fridge, you drink it the next day, and it tastes just like you made it. If you guys do that in a traditional blender, because there's a lot of dissolved oxygen blended into the mix, I mean, when you're done blending it, there's a little bit, you've created matter because the level goes up because there's so much air. Also, one of the big benefits is that it's going to reduce gas and bloating, because when you drink a smoothie or other things that are traditionally blended, right, you're adding in a lot of air, so you're swallowing a lot of air in that process. When you vacuum blend, you're removing the excess oxygen, so you're not blending any significant amount of air in there. In addition, you're going to retain greater colors. In addition, it's going to tend not to separate as quickly. It's going to get a more homogeneous mix. And there's even videos on YouTube that says when you blend under vacuum, you can even mix oil and water. And I'll leave that to you to find that video. But nonetheless, vacuum blending is amazing. Of course, probably the biggest benefit for me is that all the flavors that you're going to be tasting taste stronger. So for example, if you're blending in basil, right, you put a little basil in a vacuum blender, you'll be able to taste it a lot stronger because of those flavonoids and different flavor compounds are not getting oxidized off, which means there's more flavors, your smoothies are going to taste better, but more importantly, you're getting more of those valuable phytonutrients that are really important to me, because the science shows me that those are the properties of the foods that can help us with anti-aging and healing from many different health situations from the studies I reviewed. So now that I shared a little bit about the benefits of vacuum blending, you know, I know a lot of you guys already own a Vitamix, right? And this is the least expensive way to upgrade your Vitamix into a vacuum blender by either getting the Biochef Kit or the Voids Systems Kit that will work on top of your Vitamix. Very important, this will only work on the classic model Vitamixes. You know, if you have a smart detect system, such as the Venturist or Ascent, and maybe there's a few other models out there, both these kits will not work. The reason for that is because Vitamix got smart and they basically put a self-detect or RFID chip in the blender carafe that these carafes do not have, and I doubt that they're going to be knocked off anytime soon because it's probably some kind of patent infringement. So my recommendation for you, if you guys have an Ascent, is to sell it and get a traditional model Vitamix without the smart detect, because it locks you in to using Vitamix branded carafes, which is basically a moneymaker for them. The thing I also want to mention real quick, the other best-selling blender in the United States is the Blendtec Blender. And if you have a Blendtec blender, you're not out of luck. You could actually just buy the void lid alone. You don't even need to get the carafe set up. You just get this lid, and this lid will fit on your wild side and four side jars. So now you could just blend in your Blendtec under vacuum. This is the only solution for the Blendtec that I'm aware of at the time of this filming. So let's get back to the topic at hand. John, which one is the best one? Which one should I buy? Well, you know, with everything in life, there's pros and cons. With one kid, maybe one of your kids is good at sports, but the other kid is good at computers, for example, right? Always pros and cons, and this video here is to show you guys the pros and cons and sharing with you guys my honest opinion as being probably the #1 guy in the United States that promotes and tries to educate people about vacuum blenders, because it's obvious to me that big companies and large corporations are not doing this. because big companies that make traditional blenders have basically discontinued their vacuum blending line because they did not take the time to educate the customers, and it didn't sell, and they saw there's no money in it, so they stopped making them. So I'm glad for companies such as Biochef and Void Systems, as well as the other companies out there that are still promoting and manufacturing vacuum blenders such as Trivest and Kuvings that make solid Korean-made machines at this time. Links down below to my videos on a dedicated blender if you guys want to get a dedicated blender for vacuum blending. That being said, if you guys already own a Vitamix, I believe instead of buying a whole new vacuum blender, just getting one of these kits so that you guys could vacuum blend is a much more affordable way to do it, and you still get the reliability and power of your powerful Vitamix motor base. So the first thing I want to compare is the price, right? If you guys are just shopping on price alone, performance doesn't even matter to you. You just need the cheapest kit. You're going to want to get the Biochef kit. It actually costs less than the Void System kit. With my coupon code using at Void Systems, I've negotiated a $25 off discount. If you guys use my coupon code, the Biochef kit is still 20% less money for you guys, right? And I'll throw my code up right there, DJ25 at voidsystems.com. Link down below in the description and pinned as a first comment if you guys want to get your hookup deal on the Void Systems kit. I have been selling the Biochef kit for many years now, but currently we are out of stock on the Biochef kit due to some stock issues with Biochef, and there's some other things going on that I'll probably share a little bit later in the video. So at present time, as this video is being released, the Biochef kit is actually not even available in the United States, although that may change, and link will be down below in the description if you would like to purchase it or even check that if it is in stock. So the next comparison point I want to share with you guys is where are the units made? So the Biochef kit is solely made in China, whereas the Void Systems kit, the lid is made assembled in the United States, right? That's very important for, I know, for some of you guys out there, right? This is a quality lid assembled inside the United States with US workers. So that's cool. The rest of the components of the Void kit are made out of the country in China and then shipped in for you guys. So that may explain the price difference. I mean, the making stuff in America costs more than making stuff in China. The next point I want to go over is the warranty. John, what are the warranties on the different units? So the warranty on the Biochef kit, they got an impressive 7-year warranty on the Carafe, and then they have a 2-year warranty on the vacuum pump itself. Whereas on the Void kit, they have a 3-year warranty on the lid, which has the dual integrated pumps, so that actually means you have a 1-year longer warranty on the pumps. But then on the Carafe, they only provide you guys a 1-year warranty. That being said, after a certain amount of time, Void may charge you like a service fee to claim warranty. I think in between years 1 and 3, they give you guys a small warranty charge to, you know, for shipping and whatnot to honor your warranty and get your lid repaired and back to you. Now, speaking about warranty, another thing that's very important for you guys is, aside from just what is the warranty, what is the customer service like of each of the companies? So I guess first we'll start off with Biochef. Biochef does not have any US-based customer support. Their customer support is in the UK or Australia, and they only have email support, so you can't even call them to get service. Furthermore, right, as far as I'm aware, they do not stock any of the individual components or parts, including just the plug-in adapter, any of the kind of the seals or the gaskets, or even just replacement carafes for you guys. They only stock the entire units. And to me, that's not a good business practice, in my opinion, because they can't repair each individual component. Furthermore, right, my relationship with Biochef within the last month has changed dramatically. And, you know, they barely met Discount Juicer's standards for being one of my vendors, but now they've dropped below standards because I sold many years ago some of the other Biochef products to my customers, and my customers had warranty claims several years later, and Biochef is telling them that, oh, we no longer sell that product, so we can't provide a warranty for you guys. So to me, that's not a good solution. In addition, I've also had many customers complain to me about how Biochef takes a long time to respond to the emails, and sometimes may not even be honoring their warranties. So what good is a long warranty if you can't even get service? And what good is a warranty if you can't even get parts for the machine? So, you know, maybe that's why it's cheaper as well. Meanwhile, moving over to the Void Systems, right, they stock every individual component of this. So if you send in your lid, right, they're going to open it up, find out what's wrong with it, they're going to rebuild it, make it like new, and send it to you. They stock gaskets, they stock all the different components of their kit so that they could service their kit, as well as having a US-based customer support team with stock in the United States to take care of all your needs. So on this point, the Void Systems definitely wins the cake. So next we're going to compare what you get when you buy each system. So with the Biochef Kit, you basically get the Carafe, you get the vacuum lid, you get a standard lid, you know, without the vacuum. You get the vacuum pump, as well as you get a few vacuum bags, like 3 vacuum bags, so you could vacuum seal things in vacuum bags and store them. Meanwhile, with the Void Systems Kit, you get a bunch more things. So you can see here we have a Vitamix container here, and the Vitamix container is about the same size as the Biochef container, but we're going to take this off because you can't vacuum blend in this, obviously. Now with the Void Systems Kit, what you're going to get is you're going to get a Carafe. You're also going to get a tamper, right? So now you have a secondary Carafe you can use and just blend normally with a tamper. You also, of course, you get the little plug here for the lid. In addition, you get the Void Systems vacuum lid, and this is what really makes the unit happen. The vacuum pumps and everything is built in this lid, so there's no additional components to deal with, to lose, or anything like this. So with the Void Systems Kit, you also get a charging device. So this basically is a wireless charging device. It sits on top of the Void Systems Kit like that. It's like has a magnetic. It's kind of like how your cell phone charges. And then you basically just plug this in right here and plug this into a USB port or a USB power block, and then it basically charges your unit up, right? So you're going to get that too. In addition, you're going to get a secondary gasket depending on when you're watching this. They are currently working on making a, one gasket that's going to be best for everybody. But currently they have a thicker gasket that's more difficult to remove, as well as a thinner gasket that is a lot easier to remove. And they listen to customers because some of the customers had challenges like getting the gasket off. So they basically have modified the gasket, and Void Systems will send the new gasket to all the previous customers if you request it, if you have not gotten one. And I'll show you guys how to change that out in just a little bit. This makes removal of the lid a whole lot easier. Of course, you also get the Carafe on the Void Systems Kit. This is a BPA-free Eastman Triton Carafe. And you also get a pad. Very important on the Void Systems Kit, it's not directly compatible with the Vitamix. You can't just take this and set it on there. It's too wonky, right? It's not going to work. And that's kind of the joy of the Biochef Kit, is that it basically fits on perfectly without any modification. So on this side, you're basically just going to remove the Vitamix pad, which comes off fairly easily, and you're going to put this pad right on. Some people have a little bit of challenge putting it on, depending on your Vitamix model. But if you finagle it and wiggle it and push it down and jam it in there, it will fit. Like I've always seen it fit. I've had one customer that for some reason could not make it fit and then had to send the unit back to get a refund. But yeah, this does fit on all traditional models with some finagling. And then once you do that, then this kit will easily fit on the top and be nice and stable for you guys to use. So as you guys can see, you basically get a lot more when you get the Void Systems Kit. You get the traditional lid with the tamper here that you could use if you don't want a vacuum blend, which is kind of nice. And if you just had to buy a 48-ounce Vitamix Carafe, that costs about $150. That's about half as much as this vacuum upgrade kit is going to cost you. And then you, of course, got that vacuum lid that will also work on any Blendtec blender. So if you got the best of both worlds. If you own a Vitamix and a Blendtec, as you get the Vitamix kit, you could use this on your Blendtec and be vacuum blending in either of your blenders. All right, so next I want to share with you guys how to change out your gasket on the Void Systems kit. You basically just remove it. And I mean, that's the amazing thing. This kit is a lot more simple because literally there's only one gasket you need to worry about and clean. In the Biochef Kit, there's several gaskets, all right? So you got the gasket on the lid itself that is removable. This one right here comes off, and then you got basically a gasket right in here on top of the little plug here, and then you have the little seal gasket that basically where the air, the one-way valve where the air comes in and comes out. The void systems, you got that external gasket, and then you basically got this little vent here that you just you just pull up to release it, and it is not removable. That being said, the pro and con of the void lid is that, you know, there's no way really to get inside there and clean. You can run water through here when it's pumping. It was designed to do that, to clean it out, but there's no way to really get inside the tubing and all the different areas in there. So if you're a, you know, germaphobe, you might want to get this kit that you can take apart and fully clean. That being said, you know, whenever vacuum blending in any vacuum blender, you don't want to fill things up too much. You want to give it enough space to, you know, blend up without having liquid suck up in to your lid. I have sucked a lot of liquid over time into the void systems lid, and it always continues to work without fail for me. So I'm confident that should you suck liquid into it, by mistake of course, right, it still will continue to work. That being said, very important to not overfill your carafes when vacuum blending, all right? So let me go ahead and show you guys, just put this gasket on. This gasket is not rocket science, guys. You're just gonna basically put it on here, and you're gonna wanna move it all the way to the top. Push it all the way down to the top so it's fully seated. And that's how easy it is to put on this gasket, all the way to the top. And then what you can do is you put this on, and then now you could just easily pull this off. Significantly easier than with this older gasket that's a lot, you know, taller. So this is like the half-size gasket. So yeah, love this gasket so much more. And oh, while we're talking about carafes, you know, both these carafes have stainless steel blades, but they each have a little bit different design. Both of them claim to use like a Japan on it, or claim to use Japanese stainless steel, which I have no way of verifying. This has more of a traditional star blade, and it's kind of a serrated star blade. And if I stick my hand in there, I'm going to say maybe it's a little bit sharper than the Biochef blade, which is also like a star blade, but then it has two prongs kind of pointing up. Now the other thing is you guys can see the carafe size difference. So if you guys have kitchen counters that are a bit lower, you might want to go with this kit because it sits lower on your counter. That being said, the Biochef carafe is marked up to 2,000 milliliters max, and this kit is marked up to 1,800 milliliters on the max point. However, this carafe is a bit taller and does hold more liquid, so if you are blending for a large family, we just want to do one batch, this might be better. That being said, what I'll tell you guys is that I really don't like the shape of the Biochef carafe because it may be really tall, but the issue is at the bottom it's quite narrow, and a narrow carafe is great for when you're using a tamper, but when you're vacuum blending you can't use a tamper. So unless you have enough liquid in this carafe, things will not basically go down into the blade and get blended. For that reason, I like the void systems container because it's a lot more fat and wide and has a consistent width along most of the container until it basically gets a little bit wider at the top. In my testing, I believe the Void Systems kit has a sharper blade, but we'll be testing that out in a little bit because the #1 complaint I have gotten with the Biochef kit is that it just does not grind up as fine as the former Vitamix carafe did. Now the other thing I will say, if you guys are into what I call vacuum juicing, where basically you put all your produce in the blender, add some water or other juice if needed to do that, and then you blend it up, and then you basically use this guy, which is called Alexa's Bags, available at alexasbags.com. So basically you put the mixture in one of these bags and then squeeze out the juice, leaving the fiber stuck in the bag. So now you could have juice done under vacuum in an oxygen deprived environment to create a higher quality juice. And using the bags, you could squeeze a very high percentage of juice out and get a very dry pulp. Links down below in my videos on vacuum juicing. You could even vacuum juice with a hydraulic press. I have a recent video on that if you guys are interested. But for vacuum juicing, I'd recommend, between these two kits, I'd recommend straight up the Void Systems kit because of the fatter carafe. Although it does not hold as much, because it's a lot more wider at the base, it's going to be a lot easier to blend up your mixtures when vacuum blending. And also because I believe it also does grind better, which we'll show you guys in a second. You guys are going to get more nutrients extracted because you're blowing open more cell walls than with the Biochef. That will leave, you know, larger chunks and pieces in your blends. All right, so next up, I think I want to do a vacuum test to see which one of these machines will pump a vacuum more quickly than the other. So we're just going to go ahead and set this up. We're going to put the Carafe, the top on the Biochef. Make sure this is locked into place. We're going to put the pump on. And same thing on the Void Systems kit. We're going to go ahead and put this lid on. And what we're going to do for you guys is we're going to go ahead and time it today to see how long it takes to pump down a vacuum. So I have the Void Systems lid set to 18 as the preset, because at 18 it always goes there and maintains it easily. In some cases it can hit 19, but that could take significantly longer. So 18 is my sweet spot for the altitude that I'm at. Depending on your altitude, if you're a higher altitude, the pumps work harder. And if you're a lower altitude near sea level, the pumps don't have to work as hard, and you can pull a little bit, you know, a larger number, maybe up to 20 or so. And I don't know the equivalent in the Biochef, but I guess we're going to go ahead and just hit go. And we're going to hit start here. We're going to hit the go button and hit the start button here. And we're going to let them pump down. So what you're hearing here is the Void Systems lid. Before it even starts to pump down, there's a little number. It tells you how far along it is. It's already up to 11 and it's going up to 18. It'll actually check the seal as the first step, and it'll tell you if your seal is bad or not proper. Whereas on the Biochef, you're left guessing if your seal is bad, because it'll pump, but it might be pumping air in because you have a bad seal. So the Void is a bit smarter of a system because it knows when there's an error. So it's up to 16 already, and we're already at 39, 40 seconds, 41, up to 17. Just gotta wait for it to hit to 18. The other thing is that the Void system has 2 pumps in there, so technically it should work twice as fast as the Biochef. All right, 18, we're at basically a minute 9 till it hit 18 and it cut off. And then what happens is the Void Systems lid basically will maintain that 18 throughout the blending process, something that I really like a lot. So that's gonna get you the minimal oxidation to your blends. All right, 204, right? So the Biochef took 2 minutes and 4 seconds to pump down, and the Void Systems took a minute and 9, so it was about a minute faster, about twice as quick. Now the other thing I will say is that this is the first time I'm using the half gasket, and that's easier to remove, and I will say that this gasket does not seal as well as our other gasket that is harder to remove. So for some ladies out there or guys that aren't that strong, you might want to put on the half gaskets because it's easier to remove. That being said, it's going to work your top a little bit harder to maintain the pressure, and may not get as deep of a pressure or as high of a number because of the fact that it does not seal quite as well as their thick gasket. That being said, Void Systems is working on a gasket that's going to seal well and be easy to remove. That's going to hopefully be coming out later this year. All right, next up I want to show you guys how to remove the vacuum off of these vacuum lids and how easy the top is to remove. So on the Biochef, there's a little tab on the little center thing right there. You're going to lift that and listen. Let's get all the air back in, and then once I have that, I'm lifting it up, I'll use my hand and my thumb just to basically push this up while I'm lifting it up so there's not an airlock in there, and you could easily remove the lid. On the Void Systems, what you're going to do, there's this little red flap here, and there's a little tab on it, so you just press that up, and you can see you can let the air back in. And to me, that seems like it has a bit more vacuum on it. Then likewise, I hold that little red flap up while I push this up or pull it up at the same time, and the lid is easily removed. So yeah, a little bit different way to remove the vacuum. I think the Void Systems with this new half style gasket is a little bit easier to remove than the Biochef kit. So the first comparison I'll be doing is I'll be doing a dry comparison where I'm basically just grinding up dry flax seeds to see what kind of blade action each of the blender carafes get and how sharp the blades are by grinding up 2.5 ounces of flax seeds in each unit. We're gonna go ahead and once again we gotta put the lid on the Biochef. we're gonna go ahead and get it starting to pump down here. It's gonna probably take about 2 minutes or so, and now we're gonna go ahead and put the void system's lid on. Make sure it's in place and hit the go button and get that pumping down. And I think we're gonna come back at you when we got them under vacuum. All right, so we're all to vacuum, and the next step is we're just gonna go ahead and turn it on high on both units. So you make sure we're on high, and we're gonna turn both units on for the same exact amount of time. We're gonna go ahead and speed this part of the video up for you guys. I'll show you guys that we actually are doing it for the same amount of time. Alright, there we go, we're done blending, so let's go ahead and pull the vacuum off this guy. Let all the air back in and lift this baby up. And what we're going to do is we're going to basically pour the mixture through the same exact sieve on both units to see what is caught in the sieve, which means that that stuff did not get blended up that well. Alright, pretty much got everything out of the Void Systems kit. Next up, let's go ahead and let the vacuum off of the Biochef. And let's go ahead and get this lid lifted up too. Maybe I could take that out and then lift the lid off. Alright, we got everything out of the Biochef as well. Next step is I'm just going to go ahead and shake these out like I'm sifted it. And we're going to see what's left in the sieve. Alright, so we got it all sieved out, and this test I would say is inconclusive. Basically, it looks like we got pretty much a similar amount left in both units. Maybe we got a little bit more in the Void Systems kit, and here's what exactly happened. So flax seeds are kind of oily, so what happens is the blender starts going, things get stuck in the corners that actually don't get blended. So normally when I'd vacuum blend, I'd take the carafe off and start beating it, but I didn't want to do that in this kit because maybe if I beat this one more than that one, then it wouldn't be a fair comparison. But just putting them in straight without doing anything else looks like the Biochef actually got a little bit more ground up, and I would probably say that's because of the more narrow carafe, so it got more blade action, whereas more things were able to get stuck on the sides because the carafe is more fat and not get blended up. That being said, let's go ahead and look at what we did get blended up. If I just take this, it's a pretty fine consistency, and on the Void Systems kit, I'm gonna say it's almost as fine. Maybe it's a little bit more coarse, actually. That's quite interesting. So last part of this test is we're gonna show you guys how to store your mixture under vacuum. So we're just gonna go ahead and dump it in here. And what I recommend is using these special vacuum lids, link down below to that. The cool thing about these vacuum lids is that the Biochef pump you can just put on top, press the button, and it'll actually suck a vacuum using these lids with the Biochef pump automatically for you, right? This is something the Void Systems kit cannot do at present time. You can't just put that on top to get it to suck a vacuum, right? That being said, what I will tell you is that when you guys buy the lids, right, you get a plastic pump. Mine's pink, but they're now white. And this goes on top of the lids, and you just basically pump it up. And what I will tell you is that this pump, you could suck a lot more than this pump. So the manual pump always will suck more vacuum, pull out more oxygen, so that your food doesn't go rancid as quickly because of the oxidative damage that's going on. So I personally like this pump and the lids instead of using the automatic pump of the Biochef. That will work also with these lids. Alright, so that last test didn't work well because we were blending dry ingredients. That being said, a blender, you should be blending wet ingredients for the best results. So this next test is going to simulate making some kind of smoothie with greens or making a salad dressing with nuts. I hate when you put nuts in the blender, then you have whole nut chunks coming out, or if you're blending a green smoothie and you have big pieces left. And so that's what this test is going to do. We got even amounts of water. In this case, we have approximately 9 ounces of water going into each blender. Next, we got exactly 8 almonds going into each blender. These are unsoaked almonds because I want to see if they travel around the blade or actually get blended up during the blending process. That's very important. And also, how sharp are the blades? If the blades are sharp, it'll fractionate those up smaller. The blades are dull, the almonds will basically kind of bounce off the blades and not get blended up. In addition, I got some leaves out of my garden. We're just basically going to break these in half, break them in half again, and break them in half one more time to make sure they get blended up properly. But these thick stalks have some fiber in there. So let's see, break it up once, break it up twice, and break it up a third time. All right, next we're going to go ahead and pump down each of the units. All right, let's pull a vacuum on both the units. All right, so we're vacuumed up, and let's go ahead and turn both these units on for the same amount of time. We're going to go ahead and speed this up for you guys, show you guys that we're blending up for the same amount of time. Alright, we blended them up for the same amount of time. What I'll say is the Biochef kept things a bit more orderly. It didn't really bounce up, but then there's a lot of agitation in the void container there. So I guess we're going to go ahead and let the vacuum out. And we're going to pour both mixtures through the sieves to see which one was able to blend to a finer consistency. All right, here we go. Here's the pour out. Oh, the other thing, you got to pour out of the corner, and I kind of like the square jars. These are a little bit easier to clean, actually, to get in there to clean. And on this, it has a little pour spout, which makes it convenient as well. All right, so just going through the sieve without shaking it down, looks like the void systems basically maybe has less particulate in the sieve to stop the blockage. Also, this carafe, because it's a lot deeper and more narrow, it's harder to clean, so keep that in mind also. And we're going to go ahead and shake these both out to see what's left. Alright guys, this is really telling, and this is what I thought was going to happen. You could see here the void systems carafe had some particulate, but not a lot. And if we look at the Biochef, look at that. There's like at least 3 times more particulate. And I want to know exactly how much more there is, so we're just going to go ahead and geek out and get my scale out to see how much more there is in particulate that did not get blended up in the same amount of time. Now, if you let it go a little bit longer, maybe some of this would get reduced into a smaller particle size for sure, the longer you let it run. So the Void Systems kit looks like we got 14 grams of pulp left that was put in to the sieve. And on the Biochef, I could really see some larger pieces of almonds and just some chunks, right? Show me how inefficient and how dull the blades are. So 15 versus 45. My eyes are quite good. I called it. I said it's about 3 times more, and sure enough, the scale proves it. 3 times more particulate in the Biochef than the Void Systems kit. So I'd say, Biochef guys, you guys need to improve your blade design and how it works, because it's just really leaving far too much particulate to be something that's really good. All right, last up, we got a really good test to find out which one of these for sure blends up better, right? We're gonna blend up some berries, you know. I love how the Vitamix, with the Vitamix blade, will blend up berries. I hate how it oxidizes the berries at the same time, can lose up to 3 times of some of the different polyphenols in your berries. That's why you guys need to get a vacuum upgrade for your Vitamix. You guys could vacuum blend and preserve more of those antioxidants and oxygen-sensitive nutrients. That being said, let's find out which one of these two will grind up the berry seeds better than the other. We know one will win, and I have my money on the Void Systems, but we will find out. We have 2 little cartons, 6-ounce cartons of berries. That's approximately 2 cups of berries. Blackberries going right in. Blackberry seeds are quite hard. And then we got some coconut water, even amounts. I think it's like 8.8 ounces of coconut water with a little bit of coconut meat going into each blender to see how each blender will perform. We're going to go ahead and put the lid on the Biochef and start up the vacuum pump. And we're going to go ahead and put the lid on the Void Systems and start up the vacuum pump. I will say that I do like how easy it is to remove this half lid, the half gasket that's easy to remove and take off. but it doesn't pull as much vacuum as the other gasket that makes a significantly better seal in my opinion. So I'm gonna throw that out there. So let's go ahead and turn this on and get it pumped down. All right, we got both vacuum pumps pumped down. We're gonna go ahead and once again turn these blenders on for the exact same amount of time. We're gonna go ahead and speed this up to show you guys the process. All right, got it cut off there. Let's go ahead and find out what we got in each blender. This will be quite interesting. Let the vacuum back in. And let's go ahead and lift off the lid on the Void Systems. And as you guys can see on the top of the Void Systems lid, there's a lot of stuff. You can maybe scoop off. I do like how it's pretty flat, easy to clean in there. You get some water in that little area, don't worry about it. Biochef Kit, removing the lid. You guys could also see we got some stuff in there, a little bit more nooks and crannies to clean on this Biochef lid here. All right, let's go ahead and pour these mixtures through. Wow, one of these is more silky smooth than the other, and I already know what it is by pouring them. You could see how much stuff was caught in the sieve on the Biochef side, whereas it went mostly through the sieve actually on the Void System side. Once again, we ran this blender for the same exact amount of time. Let's go ahead and tap these down and see what we got. Wow, this is insane, guys. I'm going to show you guys this. So the Void Systems kit, man, look at that. There's hardly anything left in there. Yes, there's some stuff left that did not get blended, but hardly anything. Maybe you let it run even longer, might get blended down, but there's hardly nothing left in there, right? Biochef Kit, how much did it leave? This is quite sad to me, guys. Look at that. Look at the difference. Oh my gosh, that is absolutely insane. Let's see if I'm good at estimating this. Man, I didn't even know. What is it going to be like? 10 times more? I got to scale it out to tell you guys, right? Go ahead and take a look here. So, Void Systems kit, 3 grams. 3 grams of unground pulp. And in the Biochef, right, there's a lot of seeds that really got spun around inside the blender. Wow, insanity. 43 grams, so that's like more than 10 times. It's like 13 times more or something, right? That's completely insane, guys. Blended up, not blended up. That's why maybe this mixture is a bit lighter, because we got all the nutrients from the seeds blended up, whereas these seeds, if you swallowed them, they'd go through one end and out the other. Wow. So that's completely insane, guys. So what did we learn in this episode today, right? We learned that, hey, the Biochef is a great upgrade because you can now vacuum blend in your Vitamix. I know a lot of you guys adopted and bought the Biochef when it came out because it pretty much was the only option out there. And it was great because you were able to start vacuum blending. But wow, man, the performance on the Biochef is really not that good. Now, if you guys already own a Biochef and are using it and are happy with the blends it produces, great, keep using it, right, until it breaks, and then try to get old Biochef. Hopefully they're going to honor the warranty and you'll be able to get a hold of them and all that. But for you guys that are watching this that really want the top of performance and better blending capability, 13 times less pulp in this test. What is it? Like 3 times less in the other test I did. The Void Systems kit is the way to go for sure. Yes, it does cost 20% more, but yes, it is made in the US. I encourage you guys to use the thicker lid that has a better gasket sealing. That'll definitely put less strain on the pumps inside the lid, and also you'll be able to achieve a little bit stronger vacuum than the half lid that is easier, the half gasket that's easier to remove. The other thing I will say is if you guys want to get the hookup, $25 discount, put the coupon code right up there, DJ25 at voidsystems.com, link down below to get your discount. Now, for full disclosure, I will also tell you guys that, I work with Void for a while now before I started even promoting this, because when they first sent them to me, I actually had to return about 3 of them to them defective that they had to actually fix and repair and get back to me. I think they definitely got the bugs worked out now, because it's rare that I hear of any kind of defects, and most people that buy it are actually happy with it. That being said, the unit does have a full 3-year warranty on the lid itself, so that's your assurance that you'll be having a lid that will be running for you and operating, so that you can now vacuum blend in your Vitamix with the best solution available on the market at this time for the Vitamix, and of course also the Blendtec Blender. And then you're going to get the same performance out of your Blendtec Carafe, which in my opinion is a little bit more like the Biochef. So I wish they actually had a Carafe that would actually fit the Blendtec like this Carafe, because it has a much sharper blade than the Blendtec Carafe does. Anyways, that's it for this episode. And of course, end of this episode, I'm going to say, which one of these two would I buy? It's a no-brainer. Made in the USA, US-based customer support. They could repair these in the United States. There's no parts on the Biochef. Yes, it does cost less, but you get what you pay for, guys. Look at that pulp. 13 times more pulp in your blended smoothies, because it doesn't have a sharp blade and wasn't designed properly like the well-engineered Void Systems lid. I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode, learning about the different vacuum blending technologies you can now utilize on your Vitamix with one of these simple and great upgrade kits. Once again, links down below if you guys want to purchase any of those. And when you guys do use the links down below, the Void Systems company or even the Alexa's Bag company will share with me a small commission, so I can continue to do my work to make these educational videos, to blend up my ingredients and show you guys the results you're gonna get, so that you guys don't make a mistake and buy the wrong unit and then are unhappy with the results, because it's just not blending as well as you think it should. Also, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you guys like vacuum blending and want more vacuum blending videos and love this comparison where I show you guys the honest differences between these two different options that are out there. More importantly, share this with somebody else that has not upgraded their Vitamix or Blendtec into a vacuum blender yet, because this will definitely be eye-opening as to the different options that you can use on a Vitamix blender. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss my new and upcoming episodes that I'll come out every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up or what you'll be learning on my YouTube channel. And make sure you click the bell so you get notified as my new videos come out. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. The past episodes are a wealth of knowledge, over 600 episodes at this time, comparing all the different major brand juicers and vacuum blenders out there, so that you guys can get the right appliance for you. I'll post links down below I've made in the past about the Biochef, as well as the Void Systems kit for the Vitamix, as well as the Blendtec, so you guys can learn more about it in those demos as well. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.